Welcome to the 10th episode of United Talk, everybody. Now, as you can see, we're doing something a little bit different from what we usually do, and that is me and Annie on video for the first time. We got Annie on video with us. So let's begin things off with the Spurs game that just ended. Your thoughts, Annie?
Hey guys, well, obviously a very disappointing result for United in the end, especially in the manner in which we conceded the 2 points. We looked like we were in control of the game, even though our attacking play wasn't as fluid as usual. Maybe the weather to blame for that. It was terrible out there, and in some senses a surprise that the game went through. But I thought we had a controlled, measured performance. We seemed like we were playing within our limits. We played a lot of respect to Spurs. The game at Old Trafford earlier on the season, which we lost, was very open, and Fergie wanted to make sure that did not happen again. He played Jones in midfield as an extra sporting holding midfielder alongside Carrick.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, again, RVP doing what he does best, getting a sniff at goal and converting.
18
and
league goals
I thought after that we could hold on to the 3 points, and De Gea made some amazing saves, but in the end, it's a weak punch from De Gea, which has led to Lennon getting the ball. He's crossed it in, and they've equalised. So disappointing on the whole, but what did you make of it?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with most of what you said. I think United scored, well, not early on, but early enough. And then we hung on by the by straws, really. Yeah. And RVP doing what he does best, as you said, 18 league goals this season, and a great header at the far post. Yeah. And he literally been anonymous for most of the game up till that point, and then after that point he again became anonymous. But I suppose
I thought his movement for the goal was really good. He peeled off to the back post, and it's a terrific header.
Super cross as well.
He's really good at defending corners as well. That's something that's gone not noticed about his game. He's really good at defending set pieces, always clearing the ball.
Near post headers,
near
yes.
Post. But again, Rooney came on. I thought things were going to change. There was a massive shout for a penalty. I thought we should have had a penalty.
I definitely should have had a penalty. There was clear contact there.
Up and seen the 3 points.
Yeah, they definitely should have had a penalty. Some clear contact there. I think it was Steven Colker who had no chance of winning the ball. Yeah. Shrugs Rooney off, and that should have been a penalty. Poor refereeing. But if you look at it from the other side of the coin, I think we were lucky enough not to lose by 2 or 3. Because if you look at Spurs, they had 14 shots.
Yeah.
9 shots on target. Yeah. And several key shots, several key saves that De Gea made, including a couple from deflections, which could have so easily wrong-footed him.
Absolutely.
And I think we saw De Gea's unorthodox style of saving again, where he uses legs more often than his hands.
Yeah, I thought we saw the good side of David De Gea and the bad side, because the bad side came out at the end. That was a weak punch. He should have really I thought he was going to cast the ball when the ball came in. It was a weak cross. And, but I mean, all credit to him. Some of the saves were magnificent. I thought Rio Ferdinand had a great game.
Good game, yes.
Forward at the far post. That was brilliant. So, disappointing result. I was really hoping we could hold on to the 3 points, and now 5-point gap to City.
Yeah, exactly. 5-point gap. And I think, asking De Gea to catch that ball at the end was a bit of, too much. Because if you look at it, it's a high-pressure game, 91st minute, the ball comes in, and as a relatively inexperienced goalkeeper, you'd expect De Gea to punch the ball away and just, get it out of the box, which I'm sure Fergie must have told him to do countless times. Yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't make clear contact, and there was a great presence of mind by Lennon to put the ball in.
Absolutely.
While most players would attempt a shot.
Yeah.
And I think
who are your top 3 players from the game, though?
My top 3 players, Michael Carrick, number 1. I thought he played extremely well. Yeah. Really, the first line of defense for Manchester United, him and Phil Jones, and I think he did a great job. Almost every time at blocking Aaron Lennon's crosses. Really getting into his face, and Lennon looked like Spurs' most dangerous player.
Yeah.
My second was David De Gea. I think despite that late mistake that he made, which I still don't think is a mistake, I think it's a little bit of unluck, a little bit of bad luck, because if you look at it, the ball was slippery, the weather was bad, he didn't get a touch. But aside from that, I think De Gea was playing extremely well. His goal kicks were brilliant, he got the ball outside every time, and some of the saves he made, just pure reflex saves, were excellent.
Yeah.
And for my number 3, I'd have to give to Phil Jones. While Michael Carrick was brilliant throughout the game, I thought he was more effective in the first half. But the second half was all Phil Jones.
Absolutely.
Literally redefining the word box to box. Phil Jones was everywhere, controlling the pace of the game, breaking up attacks, starting new ones. I was very impressed with him.
No, I completely agree with your top 3. Maybe the order would be different for me. I would have Carrick, Jones, and De Gea in that order. But I agree with your sentiments on Carrick. I thought he absolutely bossed the game in the middle of the park.
Super game, yeah.
Pure class on the ball, off it. He was reading Tottenham's play, intercepting, cleaning up, sweeping up, starting attacks. I thought he was fantastic, and he's really grew in the last couple of months. I thought Carrick has been our best player.
I think one of our most important players as well.
Yeah, and he's a fixture in the squad now.
First time with the team sheet.
Game midweek when we were trying to hold on to 1-0, he came on the pitch and he settled the team down and he helped us keep the ball. So I'm really happy that he's finally taking responsibility and growing into the player we all know he can become.
Very well then. Moving on to the rest of the league, we had another game earlier today, which is Chelsea against Arsenal. What were your thoughts on that, Ani?
Well, a massive game at the Bridge, and Arsenal once again falling short of expectations, flattering to deceive. I would have to say they were a bit unlucky with the goals. I thought Ramirez was looking for the penalty there.
Yeah, definitely.
His leg was initially going towards the ball, and then he's moved it towards Chesney to get the penalty, and
left to left trailing, yes.
Foul on Coquelin, which I thought wasn't given. But again, Arsenal, you have to say, just giving themselves too much to do, and their defending in the first 25 minutes was absolutely appalling. I thought Sanya had a game to forget. Walcott, once again, their most dangerous player, and very good goal by him.
Super finish, yes.
Well.
Super finish.
Yeah. But again, disappointing from Arsenal's point of view.
Yeah, definitely. I think this was a game that Chelsea should consider themselves fortunate to win. Very impressive in the first half, Chelsea, I thought. Definitely controlling the game, controlling the tempo. And it was Frank Lampard and Ramirez running the show at the centre of the park. And the first goal was, as you said, a foul on Coquelin, which went unnoticed. Great crossfield ball to Mata, who cushions it down and slots home. Great finish. Yeah. And the second one, hard not to give a penalty. There was definite contact there. But the way he earned the penalty, I think, is a little bit shameful. Left leg trailing there, and Lampard doesn't miss from the spot.
Absolutely, fantastic.
Yeah, but in the second half, and Wallace Chesney was lucky to escape with a yellow card, I think.
Yeah, I thought if he gives a penalty,
he should have given a red.
To make, and he's got to give a red card there. But
I think the reason that the referee had was that he wasn't denied a clear goal scoring opportunity, if you look at it, because I think Vermaelen or Mertesacker was coming in to clear the ball. So if you look at it, not really a goal scoring opportunity. So a yellow was rightly given. But in the second half, Arsenal really grew into the game, started dominating possession. Cazorla playing very well. A great through ball to set up Walcott, and he opened his body and slots home. And I think his pleas to play in really as a central striker have been justified. I think he's great at finishing with both feet, as he's shown against Reading and Newcastle earlier this season.
True.
And but unlucky for Arsenal then, they couldn't get the points that they needed, and now Chelsea are in third place and going strong.
Yeah, and finally Chelsea winning a big game at home under Benitez, so that would be pleasing for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think the players were a bit relieved to win at home as well. I remember watching Mata's interview after the game, where he said that it was a big win for the supporters more so than for the players.
Yeah, true. And I'm moving on to another team struggling at the moment at home, especially Newcastle, throwing away the points against Reading. 2 late goals from Adam Lafondre, consigning them to a 2-1 defeat. And they're really, really having some problems down there.
Oh, definitely. Big problems there. And, I remember us mentioning earlier in the season about earlier in the season in the podcast about second season syndrome, and how Newcastle had such a brilliant season last time around. But this time they've been having a really poor run of games. And if this continues on, they'll be stuck in a relegation battle.
Yeah, I think they're also really unfortunate with certain injuries to key players. Ben Arfa's been out for a while, and obviously they've sold Demba Ba now.
Yeah, big loss.
And so unlucky with injuries, and in some senses maybe the wrong style of play. But really they need to get their act going, because now they're slipping into the relegation zone.
Exactly, yes. I think Pardew really needs to start changing up something. I mean, he's bought Matthew Debuchy from Lille, so I think he's shoring up his team. But if you look at how they let Loic Remy slip through his fingers, we'll be talking a bit more about him later on. Yeah. And lots of injuries. Johan Cabaye injured, Hatem Ben Arfa injured. These are good players.
Yeah.
So things could have been different had these injuries not occurred.
True. And talking about teams struggling in relegation zone, Southampton sacking their manager Nigel Adkins after a brilliant run of only 2 defeats in the last 12. We were just praising him on the last episode of the show, and just shows the fickle nature of football these days. What did you make of that?
It was incredible. I mean, I remember giving him my public vote of confidence in how I thought he was a fantastic manager and how he was doing such a good job with the team that was fighting relegation. And then 2 days later, he gets sacked. It's like an egg on my face. I mean, I couldn't believe that happened. I have no idea what Nicola Cortese, the chairman of Southampton, was thinking when he sacked him. Because Atkins has a great rapport with his players, a great rapport with the press. He's a general, all-round nice guy, positive thinker. And if there was anyone, it was him who could drag Southampton out of the relegation battle.
Absolutely, and they won away at Villa, and they got a result at Stamford Bridge after going 2-0 down.
Exactly, getting a result.
It's clear to me that the nature of the sacking and the timing of it means that the owners and the chairman were in advanced negotiations with the new boss for a long time.
Yes,
They'd already gone too far in those negotiations to hire someone for them to suddenly change their mind after two good results. But again, very disappointing.
Very,
and
very
how
disappointing.
football owners these days are so trigger happy.
Yes, it's hard to believe because it shows obviously that these owners don't know much about football, and they don't know that the first thing in football, the most important thing is continuity, is consistency, and you can't have that if you keep sending managers, in and out through a revolving door. That's not how the game works. And you only have to look at the success that Manchester United have had ever since signing Sir Alex Ferguson to see that consistency is very important in football. And my heart goes out to Nigel Atkins. I think I still think he's a quality manager, and he shouldn't have trouble finding work sooner or later.
Absolutely. Well, moving on to action in the rest of Europe, and Barcelona losing their first league game of the season, 3-2 defeat to Real Sociedad.
Mm-hmm.
What did you make of that?
Wow. I honestly thought Barcelona would go the season unbeaten, or at least until they met Real Madrid, or if they met Atletico Madrid, who were in good form. But, a shocking defeat. And I think I was reading an article wherein Victor Valdez claimed that he'd be leaving as soon as his contract ended. And this happened right before the Real Sociedad game.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, it's such a big psychological blow when you think that your first choice goalkeeper, one of the cornerstones of Barcelona's recent success, Valdez, has publicly announced that he's going to leave the club. What would his teammates be thinking?
And he was also completely panned by the Catalan press, who were really disappointed by his statement and the fact that he wanted to leave. He got a lot of negative publicity because of that. But in the game itself, they were leading 2-0, and then of course Piqué got sent off.
Yeah, that was a crucial point because they equalized. They scored one right after that. Real Sociedad. Yeah. And they then equalized and then scored a third, and it was
in the winner in the 92nd minute. So
92nd minute.
I still think in terms of the league race itself and the title, of course, there's not much of an impact.
There's really nothing much has changed.
Barca would be disappointed with that defeat.
Very disappointed. I think at this stage of the season, because these are teams that Barcelona should be winning beating with their eyes closed.
Yeah.
Because it is pretty clear that the La Liga is a 2 or 3 team league if you look at it. A team like Real Sociedad,
there's a big disparity, no doubt about it.
Yeah, a huge disparity, and I think Barcelona should have wrapped this game up easily.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and now, Atletico Madrid only 8 points behind.
Yeah. Well, moving on to Serie A, and Juventus winning 4-0 now and continuing their good form. They're 5 points clear at the top. Paul Pogba, you remember our old friend?
Yes, I do.
Goals, including an absolute cracker from about 35 yards.
Super goal that.
Yeah. And any regrets about us not signing Pogba?
Hard to say. I mean, it's obvious that Pogba has great physical stats. If you look at his strength, his speed, and his stamina, he's the stereotypical box-to-box central midfielder. And I think had he stayed at United, he probably would have gotten a few chances in the first team because you know how Ferguson likes to bleed youngsters early.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, Pogba himself wanted to leave. Yeah. For what reason, I don't understand. I mean, how would you want to leave one of the possibly the top 3 best clubs in the world?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Juventus are a huge team, the biggest team in Italy. And they've got a great manager and they've got a great setup. Yeah. But, I didn't understand why Pogba wanted to leave. But he left, and now he's doing well at Juventus. And I think United might potentially come to regret this decision in the years to come.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lot to his game. There's a lot of talent in him, and that's why Fergie was keen to retain him. But as you said, if he wants to leave, there's nothing much that can be done.
Exactly.
And I thought his agent also was quite an influence on him, and maybe quite disappointing. But good find for Juventus though, and they seem to be he's playing a really important role in their team.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that he's getting so many games in the first team. Yeah. I mean, Juventus aren't the deepest squad if you look at it. But I think it's still surprising that he's getting a lot of games. But, he's doing well in these games, so, he must be doing something right.
Absolutely.
Moving on to our...
this is, of course, transfer window month, so we thought we'd have a special feature for you guys on the wheelings and dealings so far. So, what do you make of the big move? Well, first of all, Walcott, of course, signing his contract, putting an end to a lot of speculation.
Big contract, yes, and I think Arsenal have done very well to retain his services.
Yeah.
He's played extremely well this season. And, they've done well to retain his services, but it's also a potential roadblock because if you look at the way Walcott fought for his contract, he fought for it on the basis of the fact that he wanted to play as a central striker. Yeah. Now, since when have players decided where they want to play? True. If players decided where they want to play for every player, then there wouldn't be any need for a manager. Absolutely. A player would just decide where he wants to play and, is done. That's one of the biggest things that a manager has to do, is to decide how to make sure that a player gets the best out of his position.
Yeah.
And I think, Walcott demanding that he play in the central as a central striker is really changing the face of football now. And I think more and more players will start to, question their managers when they don't play them in their preferred positions.
Yeah, I think Arsene Wenger, I think after losing Fabregas, Nasri, RVP, I think he was really, really keen to tie Walcott down and perhaps made more concessions than he would have liked. But I thought Walcott had some evidence to back him up. I thought he felt that he's done his time on the wing. Arsene Wenger has obviously bought him at a young age and been playing him on the wing, leading him into the squad. But now that he's done his time and he deserves his chance up front. And the problem with Arsenal, of course, is most of their strikers want to play through the middle. But also wants to play through the middle. Giroud wants to play through the middle. Walcott wants to play through the middle. So Arsene Wenger is going to manage these egos. And of course, I'm not sure how well he's doing that.
I'm not sure as well. But let's move on to the next big story. That is Wesley Sneijder's move to Galatasaray being put on hold.
Yeah. And I think it's quite amazing, really, because a couple of seasons back, he was quite close to signing for Man United, and I think it was a question of wages because Inter Milan had accepted a fee from us. And now, of course, he's being linked to Galatasaray. So there has been quite a loss of form. He's had a bad injury as well. But I think Wesley Sneijder still would consider himself too big to move to Galatasaray.
Yeah, how the mighty have fallen. I mean, one moment you're being courted by Manchester United, and the next you're fighting to get into the Turkish league.
Yeah.
Utterly, that's happened, and I think, yes, you're right. Loss of form, he hasn't been playing very well. And I think the wages are still a big stumbling block. I think that Galatasaray couldn't match him on his wages, to be honest. And I think Wesley Sneijder's own idea about how much he should be paid is also very overinflated.
Yeah.
If you look at his form right now, and if you look at the fact that he isn't getting any younger,
True.
I think Wesley Sneijder should really seriously consider perhaps lowering his wages so he could potentially earn a move to one of the big three leagues, that is in Spain, Italy, or England.
Yeah, true. And, talking about wages and overpaid players, like Remy, he's so close to signing for Newcastle and then moving to QPR for 80,000 reasons, as I was
Yes, brilliant. Yes, that is brilliant. Yes, 80,000 reasons, £80,000 a week, which is no small sum, especially from QPR, which isn't that big a team if you look at it.
No, it was funny because Redknapp was complaining just 1 week back about how he fined Jose Bosingwa, and then he realized that all the players at QPR, most of them, they're getting paid more than the top paid player at Spurs. Yeah. And he was complaining about it and said the wage structure in this club is really messed up and the owners have been spending too much money and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make sure there's some responsible spending.
And then he goes... Exactly, Stan's Remy, it's incredible, yeah.
I mean, good impact from him though in his first game,
scoring a debut and scoring on his debut, yes, and getting a draw against West Ham. And I think for QPR at this stage, every point is vital.
Absolutely.
And should Remy continue his form, £80,000 a week might not seem that bad.
Yeah, indeed. And also for Newcastle, Colaccini, one of their most important defenders, he says he wants to leave, wants to go back to Argentina for personal reasons, and I think they just want to keep him till the summer maybe, and then let him go.
Yeah, I think Colaccini is a big part of Newcastle. I mean, he's been with them back in their first stint in the Premier League. The earliest stint. And then when they went down to the Championship and then won the Championship and then came back to the Premier League, Colaccini stuck with them through thick times and thin times as well. And he's one of their, I wouldn't say best players, but one of their most important players, a rock at the centre of defence. And he's captained that team many times as well. True. So it's a bit strange that at this point of his Newcastle career, he'd want to go back to Argentina. I mean, it's...
I think it's to do with his wife. His wife is really ill and...
that's all, yeah.
Yeah, so it's personal reasons, that's why he wants to go.
Personal reasons are always difficult, but I think Newcastle should, for the good of their season, at least hang on to him till the summer. Absolutely. And then resolve something. Because, at this stage, they can't afford to be losing any more players.
True.
Alright then, we've got a big player salute this week, and Annie's going to be doing the honours.
Absolutely, it's my absolute pleasure. Alex Del Piero scoring 4 goals for Sydney FC, guys. If you haven't seen the goals, please check them out. 3 of them absolute beauties. And he's one of my personal favourite players. I do support Juventus, and he played for them for 19 years, 11 of which he was captain.
Incredible.
208 goals for them. He holds the record appearances for them, number of goals scored. And of course, great national career as well. 91 appearances with Italy, won the World Cup with them in 2006. And then, of course, 38 years old, he moved to Sydney FC after Juventus decided to not renew his contract. and the magic hasn't gone. And that special goal that Del Piero was known for, the goal alla Del Piero, as they say in Italy, where he cuts in from the left flank and curls it to the far post.
Super.
Two of the goals which he scored for Sydney this week, exactly like that. And
still got it.
There's one and only Alessandro Del Piero.
Still got it, yes. I mean, Del Piero is super player, and he's been so for a while now. And I think, despite his advancing age, form is temporary, class is permanent.
Yeah, and I was actually hoping in the summer that Fergie would sign him up, because we were getting rid of Michael Owen, so I thought he could take his place in the squad and be much more useful, actually.
Well, I think he definitely could, because he's got bags of experience on him. He could have really tutored some of the younger strikers, the younger midfielders well in the art of the game.
Absolutely.
But our loss is Sydney FC's gain, and still getting it done, still scoring very impressive from Del Piero.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Annie?
Oh yeah, the Fulham game, FA Cup at Old Trafford. I would say hopefully comfortable home victory and through to the next round. Berbatov is going to be coming back to Old Trafford. That should be interesting. But yeah, I would expect nothing less than a win. What about you?
I'll have to go for a win as well. I mean, of course, it's a cup game, so Fergie isn't going to put out a different team, especially since we've got Southampton coming up 4 days later.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stick my neck out and say 2-0, possibly 2-1, but most likely 2-0. I think Fergie's going to play still a decent team, and we should be getting through to the next round.
Alright, and lastly guys, as usual, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Thanks for watching the videos, and follow us on Twitter, United Talk 19, and like our page on Facebook. And we'll see you guys next week.
Alright guys, thank you.